becoming quiet for the service while we light the candles. Good morning.
Good morning.
Our first congregational song will be page 114. Let's get together. Please rise in body or spirit as you are willing and able. Page 114, let's get together. Begin the service this morning. We are a spiritual community philosophically based on existentialist and feminist principles, dedicated to human liberation and the protection of the natural world. We make our spiritual home in the old stone church, which was hand-built by African American Antioch East Baptist Church more than 100 years ago. We acknowledge the racial hostility that drove these African Americans from the area, and we honor them and the powerful history of this place. We also acknowledge that in the 1800s, the Muscogee Creek people were driven from this land, and we support justice for all indigenous people. So welcome to the First Existentialist Congregation of Atlanta. We celebrate many things today, if you are a newcomer. And today we're going to have a very special service. I'm going to begin by a couple of quotes from Lili Baxter. There may be times when we are powerless to prevent injustice, but there must never be a time when we fail to protest. That's Lili Baxter. Yeah. And we must always take sides. Neutrality helps the oppressor, never the victim. Again, Baxter. So now, if you have any community announcements, you may bring them up, right? Thank you. And I will read them at a slightly later time in the service. Are there any newcomers who would like to let us know who you are and where you came from? And how you learned about us and where you came from, if you like. Any newcomers today? Or people who have come back after being away for a while? Yes, sir.
I'm not exactly new, but it's been a while since I've been here. My name is Zachary Harrison, and I've been coming to this Old Stone Church since 1995. And many events have taken place in this holy ground. I'm so happy to be here today.
Welcome back. Now, if there are no more newcomers who would like to be introduced, we have a time that we celebrate birthdays and anniversaries or special things that people might like to announce, like graduation day. No, that's for later, sorry. Birthdays and anniversaries for now. Anyone have a birthday or an anniversary that you would like us to celebrate by singing to you? No one today, okay. An unusual day. We don't have anything. Nobody was born or married or got married. Okay, so let's have our second congregational song, shall we? And this is going to be page 107 in the pink book. And it will be Imagine. Thank you so much, Bill and Zach. It's going to be If you were to need youth programming, please, we will have it available on request. So if anyone wishes to request youth programming, then we can arrange it if you contact our office the Monday before the service you're needed for. And now is time for our fellowship minister. Don't sit down, Marcia. Reverend Marcia Mitchener. Let us welcome her.
Good morning. Thank you. It's great to see you, everybody. Wonderful to have you here this morning. This past week was, in the Jewish tradition, was Rosh Hashanah, and that is a time of reflection. It's a time of looking back and making an intent to move forward into the next year. It's also autumn, the fall, when things begin to drop away and we go through a period of dormancy. And so it is also a time for us to reflect on, what the past year has brought us and how we have reacted, how we're responding, and to make the best intent to move forward in a way that is positive and loving and caring. And so I hope that it's something that during the day-to-day and throughout the week, the coming months, that you'll think about, to look back at your year and to contemplate the things that you've accomplished, the things that you've wanted to accomplish and that you still have on your plate, and to renew your intent, to do that, to move forward, to be the person that you want to be. And I know in this climate that's difficult, that so much that's bombarding us from the outside that takes our attention. But I think it's important to remember that you have to ground yourself, that you have to be strong within yourself, so that you can be the one that's willing to step up and to do what you can do with what's going on in the world. With loving kindness. Remember, the best way to be in this world is to be with loving kindness, always, both to others but also to yourself. Show yourself self-compassion. Show yourself the things that you reflect on that you may feel you wish that you had done something differently. Give yourself some compassion for the fact that you're doing what you can do, and make the renewed intent to continue to just do the best that you can do. So I hope that you'll have a wonderful rest of your day. It's a beautiful day. If we could get some rain, that would be a little bit better. But I love the fact that you decided to make the choice to come here today. And I hope that you, like me, that you will feel better when you leave, and filled with the spirit of yourself, and feel the strength to go forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Martha. Now I will read the community announcements you have set up. I have one. Does anyone else have any at the last minute? Okay, so here's a community announcement. The Decatur Book Festival will take place next weekend, and Sarah Epting, the daughter of Nita and Rick Epting, there they are. Her pen name is Hope Epting Loshak. So if you see a book with that name on it, buy it. She will be launching her first novel entitled Chasing the Sunset at the Decatur Book Festival, October 4th. There will be 2 days of author talks, performances, cooking demos, children's activities, including children's authors, and there's one in particular I want to hear, and community events celebrating 20 years of stories. Check out the full schedule at DecaturBookFestival.com. Okay, so now we will have a time of silence for us to sit quietly with one another and meditate, cogitate, think, or just be quiet with one another. And after 5 minutes, I will ring the bell. There are candles on either side of the sanctuary that you may light in honor of those who passed on. And Mary, who is membership committee chairman. Chairperson.
Well, greetings. Every so often we have new people who pledged to our congregation, and we do like to give them a formal welcome. So that's what we're going to do today. And I want to ask Leon, who are our inductees or people who we're welcoming today? Can you tell us who we're welcoming today, Leon?
Well, I know one of them very well.
Who might that be?
That would be my wife, Lou.
Come on up, Lou. And let's see, there's some others, right? Let's see, who could it be? Let's see, is it Catherine? Oh, Catherine. Hey, Catherine Knox. And, Michelle Baird is right there. Yes. Okay, good. All right, well, I guess the next thing is, I wonder if the three of you have something you'd like to share with the congregation, maybe for about a minute or two about how you came here and
I can.
Any other story you'd like to share, or not at all? Okay.
Many years ago, I followed Leon to Africa. So that's another story. So this was a short trip. Yeah. So here I am.
What is my story? I've known of this church a long time. I've been here when Lanier did his thing.
Wow.
Yeah. And then I did grow up Unitarian Universalist, but like many UUs, my backyard was my best church. Although I did seek out different non-Christian experiences. And most recently, I've been at UUCA. But things change, and I waddled back over here, and I think I like it. And I like the size, I like the people, and I think I'll stick around.
Let's see, our third new member, or new pledge is Catherine. Catherine, is there something you'd like to tell us about your history?
Okay, yes, thank you so much for welcoming me, and, okay, thank you, and, sorry, yeah,
Okay.
Okay, well, let's see, I believe,
Do we get to sit down now?
oh, no, not quite yet. We have some, a thing that you can bring back with you to your seat. And these are some fall months.
Thank you.
We'd like to share with you all. And, oh, yes.
Bunga Latvia, Ashe, Ashe. Bunga Latvia, Ashe, Ashe. Bunga Latvia, Ashe, Ashe. Bunga Latvia, Ashe, Ashe.
Happy hearts and voices true, with open arms we welcome you.
Hey! Bunga Latvia, Ashe, Ashe. Bunga Latvia, Ashe. Everybody! Bunga Latvia, Ashe, Ashe. Bunga Latvia.
a spirited welcome, and welcome to all the new members. We hope you're happy here. Now we're going to have the offering, and during the offering, we're going to have special music. Bill and Zach will perform Zach's song, and then we will have a peace crane event. Bill and Zach.
Evolved out of a story, a peace crane story. If you're familiar with the origami folded paper cranes, okay, this was the origin of the song Peace Crane. I was taught to fold cranes like this, and in remembrance of a young girl from Japan, her name is Sadako. She perished from radiation poisoning from the bombing of Hiroshima. And she was told the legend of the crane that if you fold 1,000 of these, your wish will come true, will be fulfilled. So in her efforts to fold these, she was not able to complete them before she perished. But her friends took up the cause, and they continued to fold 1,000 cranes. So her wish, Dako's wish, her dream was peace in the world, a world with no war. So that's what this song is about. And the music came to me while I was painting a large banner, which was a backdrop to a stage that the American Friends Service Committee, the Quakers, had set up for downtown Atlanta. So I'm painting an image of an ICBM or a nuclear missile coming up, and it goes through a metamorphosis. As it does, it becomes an origami crane, a peace crane. Right? And so while painting this music just came to me. So, but also, along with the music, there is a dance, the peace crane dance. It's a very simple dance, and I'll teach it. And anyone who cares to is welcome to follow Mary when she begins to dance during the music. Anyone who feels like it can also do the dance. And it's very simple. If you've ever seen a crane, you can tell what this dance is all about. It goes like this. Very simple. It's a type of breathing exercise. You raise one leg, you bring your arms up, you raise one leg. It's like a bird, right? And this is how the bird takes flight. And so this will be our dance to be accompanied by the music. And Mary will show us all how that happens during the music. Thank you. After the music is over and we finish dancing, we have a peace crane bag that has little origami cranes that anyone who would care to have one after the song will let you know, and you're welcome to have a peace crane to take home. This song is really a prayer for peace. We need peace in our world.
peace crane, when will you fly? Peace crane, now is the time for all of us to sit and talk our best, to forget about ourselves and think of all the rest, to do all we can to get you from your nest and to fly, fly, fly. Peace train, where do you fly? Peace train, into the eyes of the ones who have hearts with open ears, into the eyes of those full of tears, into the eyes of those with fears of a life without love, harmony, peace. Oh, peace train, 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 fly. Peace train, why do you fly? Peace train, into the sky full of prayers for all children, every little boy for hope, and faith that they will live a life of joy and find peace within, happiness and joy and love, and harmony, and peace. Oh, peace train, 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 anyone who would care for a peace organ crane, raise your hand, and you're welcome to just reach into the bag and pull out a peace crane. We also have lyrics to the song. If anyone who would care for a paper print of the lyrics, raise your hand, and we'll also see you get one of those.
Thank you very much, Bill and Zach.
And Mary.
And Mary. Yes, and people are now getting their peace cranes. I am very pleased today to welcome our speaker, a very special speaker who is going to bring us a very memorable message, I think. Liliane K. Baxter, Lili Baxter. Dr. Lili Baxter is a writer and educator. She was appointed by Mrs. Coretta Scott King in 1979 as the director of the King Center's Nonviolence Training and Education Program. She continued in this capacity until 1992, when she returned to Emory to complete her PhD in Women's Studies and Human Development. Yes, Dr. Baxter has lived closely with the devastating consequences of hatred and violence since both of her parents are Holocaust survivors. She has directed Atlanta's Holocaust Education Center, and in 2019 was invited by Dr. Bernice King to return to the King Center as senior educator and trainer. She has been on the boards of both the U.S. and International Fellowship of Reconciliation, the world's oldest pacifist social justice organization, and she has taught the philosophy and methods of nonviolence, both in the U.S. and abroad, including Russia, Germany, and Japan. She is presently scholar in residence for the Workers' Circle Return to Selma Jewish Initiative. And I know Lili Baxter from when I met her in the early 2000s when she came to co-teach a class in the Women's Movement of Atlanta in the Women's Studies Institute at Georgia State. And I met her then and was impressed by what a wonderful person she is and a writer. So it gives me great pleasure to introduce Dr. Lili Baxter.
Thank you, Charlene. This has been quite a morning for me. I feel so lifted and so held by this wonderful group of people. I've just loved every minute of it. Because what I'm going to be talking about is very hard for me, but it must be told. According to the Jewish calendar, actually as Reverend Marcia just said, we are today in the midst of the days of awe, the holiest time in the Jewish year between the old year, 5785, and the new one, 5786. Today, I would normally be at Greenwood Cemetery off Cascade Road in southwest Atlanta, where sits a magnificent, huge memorial to the 6 million, as it's called. And I'd be participating in a Yizkor memorial service. Every year since 1965, when the memorial was erected by Atlanta's Holocaust survivor community, the memorial becomes the site at which Holocaust families and their friends say Kaddish, the Jewish mourner's prayer, for the families and friends who have no grave sites at which they can be mourned. Just about now, they are reading the names of the survivors who have made Atlanta their home and who have contributed so much to the life and growth of the city and state. And right now, we are here doing pretty much the same thing, remembering my family, for which I am very grateful. The stories I will recount today are so ingrained in my being, I cannot remember when I first heard them. They were told by my mother, a master storyteller, and affirmed by my father. They are true stories. A little background here. My parents were both Holocaust survivors from Krakow, Poland. They were married before the war and were parents of a small boy, Danusz. They both survived the Krakow ghetto and countless concentration camps, which was against the odds in so many ways, and reunited in Sweden after the war, where I was born in a displaced persons camp outside of Stockholm. We moved to Paris when I was less than 2 years old, and then to the United States when I was 8 and my brother Marcel, born in Paris, was 5. I went to public schools in New York and also secular Jewish school, as we kids called it. My parents were members of a community of leftist Holocaust survivors, many of whom had been in the resistance and who had settled in New York. They made a living mainly in the needle trade and created new lives and families in that bustling city. This was a vibrant community filled with colorful, heroic, creative, politically conscious people within which I was raised. I will begin with the title of my talk, The Parable of My Grandmother Laura. For it is she my parents told and retold me again and again. It is she who gave me life. That I wouldn't be here were it not for my grandmother. That I exist because of her. I came across my earliest retelling of the story just a few weeks ago when I was searching for my U.S. citizenship papers. Written in Yiddish, the language of Eastern European Jews, when I was 12 years old for my after-school Yiddish class. It tells of the momentous day when, as I said, described it, quote, the miracle happened. It must have been an important writing assignment because I actually found two versions of the story. A draft with my doodles and my father's corrections, and a neat and clean account written in my young, careful script. I translate from the clean version. Thanks to my grandmother, it is titled. This is what I wrote. On Saturday, the 13th of March, in the year 1943, the Gestapo and SS, armed with rifles and grenades as if to a slaughter, surrounded the Krakow ghetto. In a flash, the news spread throughout the ghetto, and each person trembled with fear. What is it this time? What does this mean? Soon the word spread that the ghetto was to be liquidated. Notices appeared on walls announcing that Krakow was to be clean of Jews, Judenheim in German. The panic was undescribable. 12-year-old me recounts, including in my mother's home. My father had been torn away a half year earlier, leaving my mother alone with my 3.5-year-old brother Danush. And also at home was my grandmother. My mother's sister had 2 children, 8 and 3 years old, Dusha and Machush. They were also there. All knew that when the SS led these Judenheim raids, they were cold-blooded. They ripped away children from their mothers and transported the mothers to the Płaszów concentration camp on the outskirts of Krakow. But my mother would not part with her child. And I continued. And there began a battle between 2 mothers, between my mother and my mother's mother. My mother was crying, and my mother's mother was crying, and so too the 3 small children. My grandmother tried to convince my mother that she was still young and should go to Płaszów, while she, the grandmother, would stay with the children. Whatever will happen with me will also happen with the children, my grandmother argued. Just like you cannot tolerate witnessing the death of your child, so I cannot tolerate witnessing the death of mine. If you will survive the war, and Motl, my father, also survives the war, you can build a new life. So argued my grandmother Laura in Yiddish, my Bubeleya. Just that moment, I write, fortune decided, for in burst the SS bandits. She's young, she can work, yelled my grandmother to the soldiers. And they tore my mother away from her home to Płaszczów. And that's how the miracle happened. Since thanks to my grandmother, I am here today in the world. I am the first child born after the war in my family, and I'm named after my grandmother. Like her, my Hebrew name is Leah. And so ends my girlhood essay. It was far from the first and only time I have recounted the story. I know it well, including in its subtle changes over time. And so do so many, as I do so many of my mother's stories. I would sit at my mother's side, listen to her talk, enwrapped in her world. And when her girlfriends came around, the tales would multiply, one as unbelievable as the next, but all true, for who could make this up? The story of my Bubeleya was the crown jewel in a corona of tales by which I was raised. I'd like to share a few of them with you before returning to my grandmother. Being in the Krakow Jewish resistance, as were my parents, was wrought with dangers, since if you were found out, you would be arrested and killed. Or you might be turned into the Gestapo by a neighbor or a collaborator seeking favor for themselves. And inevitably, one day my parents were betrayed. This was just a few weeks before the final liquidation, before my mother was torn from her child. That day, my mother was home alone with Danush, when into the apartment burst a band of soldiers. They immediately set about ransacking the place. In short time, they discovered the false bottom of a dresser drawer and the illegal papers hidden inside. Triumphant, the soldiers summoned the captain of the unit to show him the evidence before taking my mother outside to be shot in the courtyard. Tall and straight, the Nazi captain entered the destroyed apartment to confirm the culprits and contraband for himself. He was wearing a black wool coat with a double row of gold buttons. Already arrested, my mother was held back by the soldiers, but 3-year-old Danush, roaming free, toddled over to the captain and, unable to resist, started playing with the sparkly buttons. The Nazi captain stopped, looked down at Danush, and patted his strawberry curls. He could just as easily have smashed his head against the wall. A horrifying but common occurrence. I have a son back in Germany. My mother remembers him saying, "Your son reminds me of my son. I cannot kill you. Your son has just saved your life." And with that, he strode out, followed by the soldiers. Despite that brief reprieve, Just a few weeks later, Danush, his cousins Dusha and Machush, and my grandmother Bubaleya was sent to Auschwitz, where they were gassed and together perished. All my life, I have felt the presence of my older brother's absence, as my younger brother Marcel the poet would say. I longed for an older brother who would teach me to bicycle and protect me from bullies. I would plead with my mother that maybe Danush was alive somewhere. She would gently shake her head. No, Danush is dead, she would say. When I was in Płaszów, I worked sorting the clothes of the people who were killed in Auschwitz. I came across his little vest. I knew it was his because I recognized it. I had embroidered it myself. And yet, despite this awful certainty, throughout her life, my mother searched for her son. From imagining that a red-headed man in a restaurant was Danush, and she would poke me and say, "Oh, look, Lilush, maybe that's Danush." Lilush is the Polish version of my name. And she would fill out affidavit after affidavit to the International Red Cross, searching for him. At one time, she thought that the boy in a post-war photograph of survivors was Danush. The Red Cross actually tracked this boy down, but he was a little boy from Czechoslovakia. In those days, amidst all the killing and destruction, there were always saving graces. My mother tells of such a time when she worked as a slave laborer in Gestapo headquarters. Krakow served as headquarters for the Nazi general government in Poland, actually Eastern Europe. And it was located in a massive gray monolith that my mother took me to see when we visited Krakow in 1988. We didn't go in. The edifice was too foreboding and was by then used by the Soviet occupying forces. So we stood across the street, reflecting on what happened there, and my mother's subversion of the Nazis' genocidal plan so many years earlier, before there was even a definition for genocide. My mother recounts how one day, a day like any other day in Gestapo headquarters, with soldiers marching in every hall, crowding every office, and trudging up and down every stairway, my mother discovered a little boy cringing in the corner of a broom closet. She soon discerned that he was being hidden by another cleaning woman, a Catholic woman who had promised his parents she would take care of him when they were arrested. This woman had smuggled the little boy into Gestapo headquarters, God knows how, since she could not leave him at home unattended. And not knowing where else to hide him, had settled on the broom closet. From then on, the two cleaning women became partners in a conspiracy of goodness to save the boy's life. They hid him in whatever rooms they were cleaning. They fed him, kept him clean, warm, and safe, as they smuggled him from floor to floor, hall to hall, closet to closet, wherever was most safe. They did this for weeks on end, my mother recounts. And being cleaning women, nobody paid them any attention. Finally, arrangements were made to bring the boy to family in the country, in the outskirts, the countryside. He was smuggled safely out of Gestapo headquarters, as he had been smuggled in and taken away from Krakow. Under the Nazis' very noses, these two women had outwitted their murderous scheme and saved a Jewish life. While my mother never knew whether the little boy of the Gestapo headquarters had survived the war, she did, however, meet the adult man who years earlier she had taken in and protected when he was a young orphan, and who turned out to also become the youngest person saved by Oskar Schindler. I expect many of you are familiar with the film Schindler's List, directed by Steven Spielberg, which is the story of 1,200 Jews, many from Krakow, that the German industrialist had saved on his list. When my mother met him in 1985, this is the second boy, Leo, who had been a boy when my mother last saw him, he was now an adult with daughters of his own. They had met when she traveled with the New Krakow Friendship Society, an organization of Krakow survivors established after the war in New York, for fellowship and tea. When she traveled with the group from New York to Tel Aviv, there to meet Israeli Jews from Krakow who had survived the war. I have a picture over my desk of my mother holding a huge bouquet of roses brought to her by Leo for their reunion. He had assumed that she and her family had perished in Auschwitz, while he had been sent to Plaszow, where he was brought in contact with Oskar Schindler and saved. He was ecstatic to learn she was actually alive. Being the youngest Schindler Jew, Leo was a bit of a novelty and was featured in a magazine article he sent my mother. This is his own story. I'm not going to read from it, translated from the Hebrew. So this is what Leo remembers. The young boy walked around without any place to go. The situation in the ghetto was very tense. The Germans walked around satisfied because they had already collected all the Jews slated for deportation that day. Leo had hidden in a cellar during the liquidation and saw his parents arrested and taken away. He wandered the ghetto aimlessly, not knowing what to do. "Where are you going?" a Jewish policeman asked the boy. "I have no place to go," the boy answered. "I will take care of you," said the policeman, and brought Leo to a Jewish woman by the name of Bertha Shensky, my mother, who was a member of the Bund, an underground workers' organization. A woman with a very good heart, the policeman said. And suddenly, the sun shone again for a while, for the little boy became a member of the Kshensky family until the ghetto was liquidated 6 months later. During those 6 months, Leo records in his own words in a letter written to my mother, "You never gave your son more to eat than you gave me." Fairness being the highest value to a little boy with a mighty hunger at a time when starvation was rampant and food meant life or death. As did love. "Dear Bertha, dear mother," he wrote in the card accompanying the roses he brought her at their first meeting. "At last I have found you. Thank you so much for being the one, the only light, a sunshine, and helpful in a time of darkness, fear, and pain. You are and were the real Yiddishet mama. God bless you in happiness and many healthy years in the future. We'll never forget you. Judith, Ronit, Raya, and your Leibush." Leo corresponded with my mother until her passing and sent her one after another effusive card. So now, we return full circle to my grandmother Laura. The definition of parable is that it is a story used to teach a moral lesson. It reveals a deeper truth found within the story. A pearl of great price secreted in its heart for us to uncover and contemplate. So it is with my mother's foretelling to my mother, that if you survive the war, and Motl also survives the war, you can build a new life. And so they had. There is a saying in the Jewish Talmud, the book of Jewish ethics and theology, that sits quietly at the heart of all these stories. I'd like to share it with you now. It is, whoever saves one life, it is as if they have saved an entire world. My grandmother's sacrifice ensured that not only would I come to be, as my parents drilled into me, I now understand that my great-granddaughter Ellie, born this February 2025, would also come to be and grace the earth. My great-granddaughter Ellie, daughter of my grandson Avram, the son of my daughter Miriam, who has 3 other children, 2 of whom already have partners. Whoever saves one life, it is as if they have saved the entire world. These words assert how deeply connected we are, both to the generations that preceded us, that live within us in memories and tales, and to the generations that follow, and for whom we are to make new stories. They all point to one fundamental truth of the infinite value of every human. May we never forget this, even in the darkest of times. Amen.
Thank you so much, Lili. We are overwhelmed and inspired by your words. So now we have our closing congregational song, which will be pages 81 and 82. And the song is Walk in the Light. Please rise in body or spirit as you're willing and able. Walk in the light. Page 80, and then you turn the page to 82.
I chose this as an ending song because one of our church members at the eat and greet last week suggested that I do it as an ending song. It's a really good one. It was written about George Fox, 1625 to 1691. He was a British preacher known for founding the Society of Friends. And so it's verse, chorus, verse, chorus, verse, chorus, verse, chorus. Not too fast, as the instructions go. So here we go.
There's an ocean of darkness and a dawn
is the chief of the virtues because it makes the practice of the others possible. And that is from Aristotle by way of Maya Angelou. Have a wonderful day.